Welcome back to the Bear House podcast. Today we had a definitely fun episode. We have a furry little critter friend that got very, very drunk, and we talk about his fate and that whole story. It's all over the news, all over the internet, everywhere. Global sensation. Another one, the first one since Francine.
Yeah.
So that wasn't much of a break before we had our next crazy animal story. And we talked about the downtown area, essentially Richmond's new Boardwalk, and whether that's good, whether that's bad, when it will be completed, and when people can expect to be able to actually go visit Browns Island and see all of the construction. And we talked about the AI imagery that they're installing down there. So digital AI billboards and what have you, which is weird, strange, interesting. We talk about that.
Yeah.
What else we cover?
So we talked about a retro game shop that's potentially going to be bringing back one of my favorite pastimes, movie nights. We talked about some notable weird houses in town. I'm sure lots of people have seen some of the strange construction and the retro or historic buildings that we have in town, but there are a few notable ones that we like to highlight. So we talked about some conspiracy theories. We definitely like to highlight some of the more hard to understand topics and talk about who's right and who's wrong and what the conspiracies are. We talked about some weird old houses. I'm sure we've all seen some of the old construction in town, and we highlighted a couple of the really cool ones. And we talked about a retro game shop that's opening up downtown that could potentially bring back one of my favorite pastimes, movie nights. So it's a great episode. Stay tuned, and we'll see you there.
Dude, so you went to maybe not your first punk show. I'm sure you've been to some other shows, but Conditions, what's the debrief?
The debrief is I can't hear out of my left ear, but in the best way possible.
Dude, it was a blast. That was super fun.
Awesome. It was really cool to see the guys like doing their thing, knowing that they're my age or close to it. So, you know, late 30s, 40s, maybe middle 40s. I'm not sure how old all the guys are, but yeah, they're rocking out for like an hour straight, just killing it. And the energy in the crowd was surprising to me because I don't remember the shows being that intense. I'm talking like every 30, 40 seconds, somebody was like mobbing through the crowd, getting on stage and like coming from behind the guitar player and jumping, like leaping into the crowd.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wait, what? Where are we?
It's fun, man. It's why, I brought, for anybody who hasn't heard the episode that we did with Conditions, it's episode 24. So just go back a couple and you'll see at the beginning of that episode, we talk about that people would be surprised at how intense a Conditions show is. And they did not disappoint. Granted all the geriatric jokes, right?
Don't break a hip.
Yep. They showed up, they delivered. It was sick. I know people loved it.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I'm glad we both went to go and check that out.
The best part, I think, one of the best parts was it was kind of like a reunion. And I talked to a few people that said the same thing. I hadn't seen some of the people that were there in 10 years, maybe longer. Some of them were really good friends from back in the day. Some of them were former coworkers. And we all showed up for this show and bonded over the guys that we love to see play music, and they ripped it. It was a really cool, like wholesome experience. And to be there with you, to be there and like see people I haven't seen in 10 plus years. I saw some people that like had since moved out of Virginia. And I'm like, I remember you from like this thing back in the day. That's a really cool thing.
It was cool.
Yeah.
And Canal Club was the right place to do it.
It definitely was.
It was sick. There's a bunch of people there, and it was like a weird high school reunion, and it was a blast.
Yeah, man. It was. I mean, my legs weren't that hurt at the end of it. You know, we were standing up for a couple hours, not too bad. I saw you were in the pit for a little bit. I was like slowly inching closer, and then finally, like near the end of the set, I'm like at the back of the pit. That's not where I wanted to be because, like I said, I didn't know what to expect, and then I get there, and there's people jumping over me. Like I'm 6 foot, and people are jumping over me. I'm like, all right, too old for this.
Yeah. And that's why it helps to like have been to some of these shows before, because you know that like oh, stage diving, that's fun. But in reality, what that means is you absolutely, like if you're standing in the wrong spot, dude, you do not want to take someone's sneaker to the face. And dude, it happens all the time. I saw it happen to this girl that was like standing right there. And the security guard, Jordan, who we know, he's there and he probably sees it every weekend, maybe not every weekend, but he probably sees it all the time. And it's like, yeah, like you can't stand there. It's, you gotta know kind of where to be at.
And the band members, Brandon is like the front man. He's right at the edge of the stage and he's like singing and then like pointing the mic out to the crowd so they can sing the lyrics and everyone is singing along. And after every other song, he's like, how are we doing out there? We good? We everybody friends? Because it was so chaotic during some of the songs. It's like, whoa, he's dodging people that are coming from behind him to stage dive.
Yeah.
It was cool.
I also feel like the whole approach to live performances changed after the whole Travis Scott thing. If you don't know, if you're not familiar. So I think it was 2017, 2018. I could be getting that wrong, but he launched his album called Astroworld.
Yeah.
And essentially, in my opinion, one of the first artists to do a concert, but it was basically like a festival just for his music.
Right.
I mean, off the charts, like insane, like so many people to the point where people were getting crushed and like suffocated just because there was so many people there.
Damn.
Like, so imagine this happens on Black Friday and like whatever, there's just so many people and you would think that you'd be fine, but you put all that energy and commotion into one small place, like people get hurt.
Yeah.
And I think like that was probably a big turning point, and you started to see more and more artists intentionally checking on the crowd and being like, yo, is everybody good? Everybody cool? Like everyone doing all right? And so, yeah, it was cool to see them, obviously check in on everybody, and they know everybody there too.
Right.
So it's like,
right. He's like looking down. He's like, hey, Chris, you good?
Yeah.
He's like, Ashley, how you feeling? You good? And it was cool to be there, knowing the guys personally, but to be in a place where they have such a huge fan base and such a like wide range of fans from all over the country and all age ranges. It was really cool. I'm glad that they did it there. And I think in the last episode, when we were talking to them, I asked them what the future of Conditions is. And the answer was, we're not sure. So stay tuned. There could be more to come.
Yeah. It would be cool to see them become a bit of a studio band, right? Mm-hmm. Like obviously they just put out this single. If they don't have the proximity to be together all the time and to be touring and doing shows, and they have families and all these other things now. But yeah, dude, put out a couple songs a year. Why not? Do a new acoustic album. Like that would be sweet. Their fans would obviously love it. Obviously the demand is there.
Yes.
I don't know if they sold out on merch, but I'm sure it was close. They were signing autographs after the show. Mm-hmm. It was cool. It was awesome. It was a really cool way to like close out the year a little bit. Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I showed you or like sent you a screenshot the day or two after I was back in my, mid 2000s, early 2010s mindset, listening to the music that I listened to back then. It was a lot of, some pop punk, not a whole lot of that, but some alternative rock, some like psychedelic rock. And I'm like, I missed this vibe. I really just genuinely missed it. And I pulled up I just searched a list on Spotify, and it was a curated Spotify list. And one of the first songs was a Conditions track.
Yeah.
I'm like, these guys have the sauce.
Oh yeah.
And I listened to it, and I think we talked about this on their episode. Just listening to their music, it's like, oh, yeah, this is pretty good. You don't relate that to a mosh pit at all. But I definitely thought I could see this in a movie. I could see this on a soundtrack. I could see this in like a TV commercial or TV show. They definitely have the chops to do stuff like that.
Great writers. Yeah. Brandon's a great singer. So what was it like listening to the music after going to the show? Like it kind of like hits different, right?
It hits different.
You have a different perspective on the music.
Yeah. There's, I'd have to look it up. There was one song that they played in the set that was on Full of War. It's like the second most popular song.
Yeah.
And I know I'd heard it years prior, but I hadn't listened to it in a very long time. And they played the song in the set. I was like, oh man, this song kicks some ass. This song is really good.
Yeah.
And it came on that like 2000s era rock playlist on Spotify, and listening to it in the headphones, like getting my day started, like, hey, I'm getting pumped up.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. You always have an appreciation for music after you see the band live, and they absolutely crush it. You know, the opposite is always said, that you don't want to see your heroes. You don't want to see your favorite band live because they're usually disappointing. This is the complete opposite.
The 2 top songs from Full of War, at least on Apple Music, would be Walking Separate Ways and Best Mistake.
Walking Separate Ways.
Yeah, it's a great song. Yeah, Open Eyes is another good one too.
Yeah.
They're all good. Like, you can put on Conditions, just listen to their whole discography. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of getting pumped, I think the most pumped, not person, but a character in all of Richmond this past week was this raccoon.
Yes, the raccoon.
We got to talk about it.
That raccoon got litty titty.
Dude, he got straight cooked. Just completely cooked.
And you know, like, I think most people in Richmond can kind of relate.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah. Dude, what a crazy thing to even think about, right?
Yeah.
Like, a raccoon busts into a Hanover ABC store, ransacks the whole place, gets totally shit-faced, and then passes out in the bathroom. Yeah, that sounds like a story that I would like tell about like a old roommate or something.
Right. Right. Like, yeah, my friend from high school or from college, we're at a party. He raided a liquor store. He broke a couple bottles. He passed out in the bathroom. Like, that's a story that happens all the time.
Could you imagine being the person that works there and you go in the next day and there's just broken liquor bottles all over the floor and you're like, what the hell? And you're looking all over the place. You can't find anybody, only to open the bathroom door and there's a raccoon just drunk, passed out on the floor. That's crazy.
Well, first I would assume, all right, dead raccoon in the bathroom. Great thing to walk into first thing in the morning. And then, was there a party here last night? Was it an earthquake? Like, what's going on with all the broken bottles? And then you slowly put the pieces together. You're like, wait a minute. The raccoon and the bottles and the bath. This raccoon had a party all by himself.
Seriously.
I mean, I get it.
I don't get it. Like, I understand how a raccoon would like go crazy, and I mean, I guess what? It's trying to escape or something, knocks a bunch of stuff over. And then I guess if it's stuck in there for hours, eventually it's going to be like, okay, what is this? And give it a little sniff and maybe have a little sip of the naughty water, you know?
Yeah. It's like when people give, you know, like their animals or pets substances, like mind-altering substances, to see what happens, like harmless, like no ill will, you know, it doesn't hurt the
or
animal.
accidentally,
like, you know,
the dog gets into the mushrooms,
right,
or whatever,
or eats a bag of weed, or, you know, your silly friends blow a bong rip into your cat's face, and
right,
harmless, but the animal is completely blitzed because they're tiny, and only a little bit does them in.
So this says, on the morning of Saturday, November 29th, Officer Martin responded to an unusual call at the ABC store. When the officer arrived, she found that a raccoon had broken into the store, ransacked several shelves, became intoxicated, and then passed out in the bathroom. Officials say the officer safely secured the masked bandit and took him back to the shelter to recover. After sleeping for a few hours and showing no signs of injury, officials said the raccoon was released back into the wild. Imagine the raccoon, releases back into the wild and goes back with his raccoon family and friends and is like, bro, what the hell just happened?
You guys, I found the best club in town.
Imagine they all come back the following weekend. It's like the whole family, the whole bandit.
That's what I'm imagining. Like the guy that worked there and found the raccoon the first time, he goes in like maybe a week or so later, and there's more bottles broken and just, you know, chaos all over the place. And in the bathroom, in the office, behind the register, there's just drunk raccoons. Like a buddy cop comedy with raccoons.
Yeah.
Just That sounds great to me.
It's very Richmond to like finish off the year with just another weird, crazy story. And of course, it's animal related, right?
Of course. I mean, this is Richmond. So I think it's weird, which is like on brand for us. And we just eat that stuff up. We love it. It's like quirky. It's weird. It's like, yeah, this is our town. This happened in Richmond. It's so funny though. It made it on to national headlines.
Yeah, it was on like USA Today
it was
or
on
sort
USA
of like a morning
Today.
show or
it
something.
It was on Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert brought it up in his intro monologue.
Dude.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, Richmond's on the map. You know, that's for sure. Hate it or love it, it's happening. Did you see I think Browns Island just officially closed for the renovation.
Mm-hmm.
It won't be open until next year for the folk festival.
Okay.
So like even River Rock is not happening on Browns Island. They're going to do it somewhere else, which is kind of crazy to think about.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with that.
Yeah, but it'll be closed, for almost the entire next year. So the next time that we step foot on Browns Island, it'll be I don't even know. Something.
Hopefully it'll be a tastefully well executed reinvigoration project that people appreciate, utilize, take advantage of, and are able to enjoy for years to come. Now, that sentiment having been said, we all know very, very, very well how Richmond likes to execute things, especially on a large scale, like something like this. We talk about what I like to call the 80% problem. They'll execute it. The plan is formulated. The money is there. It's all drawn up. Browns Island will be closed. By the time that it's supposed to open, it's almost guaranteed that just about everything is done, or everything is done, but only about 80% of the way.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what that's like.
I'm not looking forward to seeing this AI billboard thing that they're doing on the front of I believe it's the CoStar building.
Mm-hmm.
So this article says, quote, "New office tower will have a digital skin that will display images generated by artificial intelligence." So, I don't know if that's going to be images of like a hot dog person with 15 fingers or what that even means. But yeah, at the end of the article, the author, they included, "I hope it works."
Exactly. They switch it on. It's got a big Virginia logo on it. And then it's stuck on the blue screen with all the letters because they can't program it or whatever. And it reminds me of like the Sphere in Las Vegas. It's kind of what it sounds like.
Yeah. And I think that's what they're going for. It says continuously changing scenes of nature, which is like sort of weird because the island is already surrounded by nature.
But
so what does that even
why?
mean?
That's my question. And I'm sure a lot of people would ask the same question. It's like, technology is cool. Well implemented technology that improves people's well-being, I think most people would be down with.
Yeah.
A giant screen showing pictures of nature when nature is right there. Why?
Yeah. And we actually talked about this in one of our episode 3, like one of our first episodes, where we talked about how Richmond was getting its own boardwalk. And it's worth remembering that that's their plan. I mean, that's what they're doing. They're turning that area specifically. They have sacrificed that whole area to be this park, entertainment, boardwalk, gathering area with, on a nature space on the river, right? And if you think about people that are going to be tourists that come to visit here, that's clearly going to be one of the places that they go. Like we're the River City, you've got the Potterfield Bridge right there. So if you don't live here and you're looking for the touristy thing to do that's family friendly, that's going to be the thing to do, is to go down to Browns Island, go across the Potterfield Bridge to see the river. There's plenty of, walking, hiking, bike paths, rock climbing. And then you're going to have, I think, 4 or 5 restaurants down there. You get your little digital billboard going on. That's what it's going to be. And people did say that, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. I think it's Refik Anadol.
Mm-hmm.
And people do say that they really like his artwork, actually. So I don't think, hopefully this is not Chat GPT artwork. This is like a dedicated artist who uses like digital art. And, I would hope it would be cool. But in a city where it's like, dude, it's Richmond. Like, we are a creative and artist town. Like, VCU is one of the top art schools in the country.
Yeah.
Why are we creating digital? And I'll be careful because, like, I actually love digital art. I took graphic design in high school. That's where I got my start in web design and like a huge part of my career. So I like graphic design. I like digital art, and I use AI every day. But I think I agree with most people, which is I enter with hesitancy when they're saying, oh, an entire building cased in an AI digital board that's going to display AI art. It's like, oh, awesome. Well, good luck to people that live in like the Riverside apartments or whatever.
Right.
And you've got basically a 365 days a year Christmas tree lit up in the middle of the city that's shining into your apartment when you're trying to sleep.
Right. We can't have nice things.
I know.
And there's always going to be an upside and a downside. And as a Richmond native, I feel my gut instinct is to rail against it because for why? But then obviously breaking it down a little bit further, there's a larger master plan. There's the boardwalk. There's the expansion of the public spaces that we talk about that Richmond needs more of. So in theory, it is a part of a much larger, bigger, better plan. I would probably disagree that that's the best way to use AI technology as an attraction. But why? Again, why? What is the point? What is it going to add? Really, what is it going to add to the city's skyline? What is it going to add to that part of town?
Yeah,
I think there are other ways, more creative ways. This being a very creative city, I think there are a lot more creative ways to use that technology personally.
I think so too. And the good thing is it's digital. So if everybody hates it and they hate it and it just doesn't make sense, they can change what's displayed on it.
Yeah.
You know, someone left this hilarious comment. They said, babe, wake up. It's date night at the Death Star. and people are comparing it to like the Las Vegas Sphere and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's all CoStar, of course. Like,
of course.
CoStar's big down there. And I guess the idea is that they're, you know, the bottom floors of a lot of those commercial buildings and infrastructure is going to be for retail and restaurants and stuff like that.
Which I think is great. I like the idea of Richmond having a boardwalk. I think one of the biggest complaints that I've always had about Richmond, especially when I go to other cities who nail it, is a sprawling metropolitan downtown area. We don't really have that. We talked about Broad Street, past Chamberlain Avenue, or past the Boulevard, or VCU area, like the ICA, that whole area,
basically
Jackson
like
Ward.
Fifth Street and beyond.
Yeah, 5th Street down. It's like, this has the potential to be such a really beautiful, engaging, and attractive part of town, but it's not, and it hasn't been for decades.
Yeah.
So the idea of a really cool, sprawling downtown area sounds great. But I'm a little jaded, I suppose, because there have been proposals and ideas and petitions to revitalize certain areas of the city, and some of it gets done or it gets redrafted and changed, and it doesn't get executed the way that we thought it would. You know, the Pulse bus is a great example. We definitely thought we were going to get rail cars again, because that used to be the main mode of transportation up and down Broad Street was cable cars. What did we get? Another bicycle lane for the Broad Street bullies.
Yeah.
So I'm not really confident in the execution.
Yeah. I will say I would pick this over the casino thing. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. Initially, I don't really have a large, I guess, like not large, but too big of an opinion either way on casinos, because I don't go to casinos. I don't gamble. I don't really care.
Same.
But I think people's initial pushback was for a good reason. You know, a monstrosity of a building that doesn't really fit, that draws people in to money grab them. Probably not the best. When we're already talking about the economy in the city is tumultuous as it is, there are always ups and downs. There's always two sides to every story. It could be a great job generating entity that employs lots of people that don't have jobs because they can easily get them at the casino. But on the other side of that, you have people that don't have the money and resource to gamble it away and lose their fortune thinking that they can strike it rich.
Yeah. And I think it's a statistics thing. Like, if you just looked at the statistics, hopefully most people would say yeah, I'm not participating in that. Like
Right.
that's a scam.
That is it's 100% a scam.
You know, there's a lot that goes into it, but definitely agree. I would much rather have what they're doing down there at Browns Island than them putting a big casino down there. Like people would freak out if that was the case.
I mean, now that the amphitheater is down there, I think for me that like checks off one of the boxes that I had like envisioned for Browns Island for years is a permanent music venue or a stage. And all credit to the Live Loud group, like the Broadberry group. They've been putting on sellout shows on Browns Island for years, and they've been crushing it.
Yeah.
They've brought acts that used to come to the National, but now don't because there's a new ownership there and they have a different musical direction. And they bring those acts to Browns Island because they're too large for the Broadberry. I think that's incredible. So I hope that they keep doing things like that in addition to the amphitheater. I'm not sure how the competition isn't going to work there, but I think there's room for all of it. If we're looking at the potential that Richmond has to grow, doesn't have to be geographically, it doesn't have to get bigger. We can just use the space better.
Yeah, yeah. And that downtown area, not Browns Island, but like the Capital District, like 5th Street and beyond, like 5th Street down to the bottom of the hill. Yeah, it's a bunch of abandoned buildings and like it's, you know, it's not a cool place to hang out. And some of the nicest hotels are in that area. So I think what's going on at Browns Island and all the CoStar stuff and all the money being put into it, it's hopefully going to expand and make its way up the hill, you know?
Yeah. Wouldn't it be cool if we could traverse the city and all of the different areas and they're all interconnected in a very creative way? You know, I've been to cities, I think like I went to Denver years and years ago, and there's an arts district there that I can't remember what it's called, but they do a really good job of tying together those parts of the city so they're not so like alienated or just kind of sectioned off on their own little islands. Like Jackson Ward is seemingly like way over there when it's just a couple of blocks away from Monroe Park and the engineering area of VCU. But there's not much tying those two neighborhoods together.
Yeah.
There's like hotels and a couple of restaurants and then like dilapidated storefronts. And then you get to Jackson Ward and you're like, this is a pretty cool neighborhood.
Yeah.
I don't want to walk around here at night, but it's pretty cool. And then you come from Jackson Ward, you go a little further east and then you're off in the Chamberlain Avenue area and you go further east and you're in North Side. To get from downtown to North Side, you can go through the projects behind Jackson Ward, or you can take Chamberlain, which crosses over 95 South.
Yeah.
Which that part of town is a hodgepodge of new construction for student housing and 50-year-old dilapidated buildings and underdeveloped neighborhoods.
Yeah.
But then you get to North Side and you're like, well, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to go through a shitty part of town to get there.
Yeah. Well, and we just talked about the Shockoe Valley Streets improvement.
Mhm.
So that was the last episode. So that's episode 25, where they're improving all that. So it'll take a while.
Yeah.
It's going to take 5 years to do it.
Yeah. I was looking at the comments. There's some conjecture amongst people that it's like, I don't know, it could be this, could be that.
Yeah. But that contributes towards making that commute a nicer area and even making it possible, right, for people to ride bikes through there and all that stuff like Oliver Hill Way and through those areas. And it makes me think about, you mentioned Jackson Ward. Like I actually think Jackson Ward, because I used to live in Jackson Ward in 2014. And I feel like at that point, right, it's over 10 years ago. It's crazy to think about. Those days, it would have been not like super dangerous, but it would, you know, it wouldn't be the nicest part of town to be, you know, just walking around by yourself in at night. Yeah. I actually feel like Jackson Ward these days is pretty safe. Like that whole area over there is much, you know, and I don't spend a ton of time over there, but that whole area has changed so much in the past 10 years. And you could say the same about North Side, right? When I was 19 years old, I was driving through North Side, like Overbrook Road, and I was an office administrative assistant or something like that for this real estate company that had a bunch of rentals over there. And I would go handle the showings, like the appointments for people to look at the houses. And dude, you could rent like a 6-bedroom, 2-story house that was like, you know, over 2,000 square feet for like $700 a month.
I remember those days.
Insane.
Man. Yeah.
Like,
I remember those days, and maybe we were naive because we lived here, but those were also around the time when Richmond started to come down from being the murder capital of the nation. And the crime rates in those areas were coming down and violent crime was becoming less prevalent because of people like you and me, younger, single people moving into those houses. And then eventually the families that would come and buy them and then turn the neighborhoods around over a couple generations. And like I grew up over there. Like I grew up in Northside. I grew up off of Chamberlain Avenue. And I have a special place in my heart for that area of town. Down the street from where Fuzzy Cactus is, there's an old school building.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything in there now. I mean, it was used for something, but I'm not sure what it is now. Like the Smoky Mug is like right there on the corner. I went to school there 30 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And now it's just an empty building.
Yeah.
And my mom's family's house was down the street further into the North Side area. And we went to church at St. John's Church around the corner, or St. Paul's. So like I grew up in that area. Like to see it the way it is now it's a trip, because Brooklyn Park Boulevard used to be a sprawling downtown area, downtown or metropolitan area of North Side's neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then it went to shit, and it's slowly coming back now. So it's just kind of a trip to see that.
What are your thoughts on, you know how people will buy like schoolhouses or abandoned churches and basically turn them into their home?
Mm-hmm.
Would you do that?
I think the adventurous side of me definitely would. I definitely like the idea of reimagining something.
Yeah.
Because your creativity has no limits. There's no rules. It's not predestined to be anything after you decide to change it.
Yeah.
Right. Because it was a school, and the rooms for classrooms are now office spaces or bedrooms or studios or store or whatever. Or you can knock down all the walls and have like a giant open concept warehouse style joint. I've seen people do that before. Yeah. It's also really good content on YouTube. So I'm obsessed with like watching those renovation videos. But yeah, I think if it's done right and done well, and it's a tasteful addition to the area, I think that's kind of the crucial part to any part or any project that someone takes into a neighborhood. Does it fit the neighborhood? Selfishly, you probably don't care as much about that as the project itself, because you want it to be what you want it to be. But it's a really good aspect to consider, because you're building upon the entire neighborhood's success if you contribute to it instead of alienate. You know, we see a lot of the newer constructions around, like even Carytown here down the street. There's a couple of really super modern houses in the middle of the old Carytown row houses. I like super modern architecture. I think it's fascinating, but they stick out like sore thumbs, and they make the rest of the neighborhood look like shit.
Yeah.
And you have dozens of families who have contributed to the beautification of the neighborhood over generations. And here comes one motherfucker, excuse my F word, that undoes all of that with one house.
Did you see this house? I think it was in like Ashland, like on this point where someone had like a pretty normal size house, and they built this huge, like a monstrosity, like almost like apartment building, like the size of like a whole condo building on the side of their house. They built it all the way up to the property line of their house. Like, and just completely, it's like, what's the wall in Game of Thrones? It's like if someone had built that wall like next to your house, you know?
The ice wall, yeah.
It's insane, dude. Like somebody did this and the whole neighborhood was infuriated.
Yes.
Like so pissed. And it's different when it's in the city, because like the city is eclectic and everybody's got different styles and you're used to being pretty slam close to each other. But when you move out to the suburbs, it's normally because people don't want to be in those scenarios, you know, and everybody's got the same cookie cutter, the same house basically, because it's all modular and the same company builds all the houses in the suburb. But this person put an add-on to the side of their house, not the back of their house, like the side of their house. So it's like this little normal looking house with this huge, like, I wish I could find it in my notes, this huge addition on the side of their house. It doesn't even match the same style. It's like a big rectangle. It's basically the size of like a condo building. And yeah, it's going to court. Like they're going to court over it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like the neighborhood petitioned it, and they've put a court order in, and the construction company had to halt construction. I mean, when I say it's an obstruction, like it's an obstruction. It's huge. Like we gotta
pull up a picture. I would love to see that.
It's insane. So I would definitely find it.
You'll drop a picture in there. That kind of reminds me of this conversation about like the contributing to the neighborhoods and keeping up with like some of the historic architecture. I came across a post about some strange old like homes in Richmond. I was like, okay, we like strange old stuff in Richmond here on the podcast. And I pulled up this article. It's from 2025, August 2025 here. And some of these buildings I've never heard of. And I'll share this article with you so you can see it. But a few of them are Pratt's Castle. You ever heard of that?
What is it called? Pratt's Castle?
Pratt's Castle.
No.
So a long-lost landmark of Richmond architecture. Pratt's Castle once stood as a singular fortress atop Gamble's Hill on South 4th Street. I think I know where Gamble's Hill is. It's like Libby Hill Park area, Gamble's Hill. The private residence of English-born photographer William Abbott Pratt. Its construction began in 1853, built mostly of wood, but with iron plates on the exterior to give it the appearance of being covered by stone to be better complete its medieval appearance. And it looks like a castle. It's got like the turret that's kind of like facing the street.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's got like the two pillars at the end. It looks really, really cool. I'll share this with you so you can take a look at it.
Okay.
Here.
And I'm going to share this insane house with you.
I'll drop this in the note here. Accept. And then that's yeah. There was one though. I think we actually talked about this one of these on here. Sharp's Island House.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Did we talk about that?
Sounds familiar.
It's a house in the middle of the James River.
Oh,
on the smallest island. Like, look at this thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so cool though.
Between him and the city sights and sounds, the James River flows on every side, reads an article from July 1950, the Times Dispatch. So, adjacent to the 14th Street Bridge, Sharp's Island House is one of the smallest in the James, at only 1.5 acres in size, small enough to keep Sharp from having any neighbors, and the house remained intact for longer than anyone might have ever expected, having originally been built in 1895. In 1968, architect Henry Tenser Jr. bought the house for $1,500 as a novelty, but when the James River water level rose during the storms of 1969, it damaged the house beyond repair.
Bummer.
So, I mean, this picture is, there is no land. It's just the foundation, a chimney, and like a 2-bedroom, 2-story house. And you can see like that.
And is that building. The governor's mansion in the background?
No, I think this was a hotel back in the day. I'm not sure, but the building is still there. Both of these buildings are still there.
That's crazy. Jinx. I'm also looking at this picture of Pratt's Castle.
Yeah, it's
this
cool,
is
right?
Super cool. Yeah, it says, yeah, me too, dude. Pratt's Castle. For those who aren't familiar, Richmond once had a Gothic revival castle known as Pratt's in the Gambles Hill neighborhood. It was built in the early 1850s before the Civil War. Exterior photos are easily accessible, and the Library of Virginia has supplied additional resources. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
That is a castle.
Oh, yeah. That's a great picture of it.
Dude, so check out the picture that I sent you, okay? So here's the image from the front of the house with that addition added to it. All right. So like there's the house, the little house, and there's the addition on the side of it, okay?
That's so insane. God,
dude,
who would do that?
Now look at the picture from the neighbor's perspective, okay?
Which one is from the neighbor?
I'll show you. Hang on. Look at that. So that's looking at the neighbor's driveway.
Come on, man.
That is insane. That's ridiculous.
It's such a dick move.
Yeah, it really is. Like the size of that is insane. Like that is
it's
huge.
Like it's an apartment complex.
Seriously. It's 3 stories. Absolutely huge. This is in
There's
Fairfax.
a picture of it from the sky. Like
that's great. Yeah.
It's a hotel.
Dude.
It's so
that is
crazy.
Ridiculous. The neighbor said she was blindsided by the sheer size of the addition and that many other neighbors are outraged. She has lived in her home for a decade, and her next door neighbors have lived there in theirs even longer. They're a nice family. We've never had any issues with them whatsoever. They are a multi-generational family, a grandpa, a grandma, their adult son, his wife, and 3 kids. In August, they began building an addition onto their home. When the first story went up, we weren't worried. We have a privacy fence and some bushes, so we weren't concerned at all. But then a second level went up, and we started to feel uneasy about the amount of visibility and sunlight that was taken away. Then a third level went up, and I became very concerned. It looked like a large townhome. I started getting calls immediately from other neighbors. I posted a photo of the addition on our Facebook page, and the outrage took off.
That's insane.
Insane. There's no HOA. A building permit was issued by Fairfax County for the addition.
Wow. So no HOA either.
Yeah.
So this guy is just living free and clear. He's just doing whatever he wants.
Yeah. I mean, technically, I guess it's within the rules, but so many people, reached out. And then Hanover came and submitted a new survey that says that it does not meet the required 8-foot side yard setback. They've notified the property owner, and they're meeting with them to determine the plan to correct the issue and bring the construction into compliance with the county's regulations. Construction has now been paused, but Leonard has not heard anything about it yet. I'm more concerned about the addition being 3 stories high than I am about it being too close to my property.
Right.
So I guess that's the issue is there's nothing they can do to stop it from going vertical.
Right. Because there's no statute against that.
I mean, I guess there probably is to a certain point.
Right.
But they're within it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I've never seen anything like that. I'm like, dude, that's a bit.
And like,
it's a bit ridiculous.
It's a bit ridiculous. And like the house that it's built adjacent to or built as an addition onto, that's the property that could really use this renovation. Because I mean, it's an old like ranch style, like A-shaped roof, A-frame house. 2 stories, but with no windows on the front second story. And you build what is essentially an Embassy Suites on the side of it.
Yeah.
Like why did you think, who thought that was a good idea?
Yeah. Like if you smacked like a Motel 8 or whatever sign on the front of it, you'd be like, oh yeah.
That's insane.
That is crazy.
People in Virginia are ridiculous, and I love it.
I would agree. I would definitely agree. Well, let's tune into our sponsor real quick. So today's episode is sponsored by Point 5, Richmond's first standalone alcohol-free beverage shop right here in Carytown. They're our neighbor, and we love them very much. Point 5 is not just for those who are sober and sober curious. It is for all of us who want something different to sip on. They carry everything from non-alcoholic beers and wines to nootropic drinks built for focus and creativity, along with the functional beverages like THC, CBD, kava, and other plant-based options for mood, relaxation, and energy. They also offer gluten-free and dairy-free options, including NA beers, wines, and functional spirits that work for a variety of dietary preferences. Visit verahouse.co/point5 and you'll get a 10% off voucher, and be sure to visit them right here in Carytown. That's verahouse.co/POINT and the number 5. And then simply download or screenshot the voucher and use it at your next visit, which should be ASAP because we got the holidays coming up. We do. And people overlook the fact that like 46% of US adults are not drinking, and I'm sure that number fluctuates, right? Because people take a break and go back to it and whatever. But when I go to gatherings or even go to visit my family, I just bring my own stuff. I just grab something and bring it. I'll just have a few drinks. But it's nice when people think ahead and they have things. Right. Like we went to the conscious table and they have, options. Mm-hmm. I went to my good friend Donna's house yesterday and she has NA options there. And yeah, you go places and it's much more common that they have options, especially even going to the bars and places like the Graduate where we go for your shows and stuff. And yeah, it's nice that those options exist. And Point Five has a huge part in that happening.
Yeah. It's that social kind of contract where if you're at a gathering and whether you're drinking or not, you almost feel naked without having something to sip on or to have to like occupy your hands while you're socializing. And if you don't want an alcoholic beverage, or maybe you're taking a break and you just wanted to drink something different, Point Five has a wide variety of different types of alcohol replacements, nootropic drinks, vitamin and health forward drinks, like wine alternatives. So if you want to have a nice glass of red or white, you don't want any alcohol, you can drink that too, which I personally think is the really cool aspect that is being kind of spread and immersed into the bar culture and the social scene and the party culture for us as people who don't drink, and as someone who's known people who haven't drank over the years or have stopped drinking or taken breaks. It's now like not even a thought. It's okay. Yeah, I know exactly what I can get this person who doesn't drink alcohol. It used to be like, do you want water or
like a Shirley Temple?
Do you
or
want
something?
like a bar of soap? I don't know. I don't know what to give you.
Yeah.
Do you want to? Should you just leave? It's not that anymore. It's like, oh hey, you don't drink? Here's an NA beer. Here's some NA wine. Here's a kin nootropic drink if you don't want to drink either of those. We have lots of options.
Yeah, and NA wines are tough. I've had some, and I know that this is a good one, but I've never known anybody to have like a NA wine as a go-to. I know that the wines are getting better as we go.
Yeah, and we had Jody on not too long ago, and she kind of talked to us about what really goes into the NA wines that she provides and stocks, and how the wines are prepared and aged in the same way that an alcoholic wine would be, but then the alcohol is removed at the last stage of development. So it's aged and properly created. I don't know what the proper wine term is for, how do you make wine, but the alcohol is only removed at the end. So it's a real full-bodied red or white, just the alcohol is then removed.
That tastes like a wine.
Yeah?
Yeah. You want to try it?
I'm not a wine guy.
Yeah, it tastes like a wine. It tastes like a wine. It doesn't have it surprisingly has the feel that you wouldn't expect from a wine.
Yeah.
It's pretty
I'll take a sip just to sample it. Pinot Noir. Okay, so it should be a little dry, some rich, if I can remember my wine training from the restaurants, it should be a little dry. There should be some tannin, so a little filament, a little grain.
Yep.
And medium body, or maybe light body, because it's Pinot Noir.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a nice in the middle red.
Okay.
Right?
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
A little dry, light, a little bit of dark cherry. Dang.
Pretty interesting, right?
I could drink that.
I know.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, you can't because it's mine. Dude, did you see this like vintage movie video game shop is opening up? I think it's downtown.
Vintage movie video game shop.
Yeah. So, yeah, VHS and old school video game store. It's called Rewind Vintage. And they'll have like VHS tapes. It's basically like a old movie rental. It's like a retailer devoted to old entertainment.
I could have sworn that there was a shop like that in the Fan next to, and maybe it got replaced by Scoops, the ice cream shop on Strawberry Street.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure that was a retro gaming comic book entertainment shop.
Yeah.
And they had like VHS tapes and things like that.
Whoa.
So it's like, if you could have stuck it out for another couple of years, maybe he would have been a hit.
I know, right? I mean, I think it speaks to the fact that people are like dying for some like normalcy, dude.
Seriously.
Like, things are getting crazy. This is on 7th Street. So this is in that area that we were talking about. So it is cool to see that new stuff is diving into those areas.
Mhm.
But yeah, VHS as well as old school video games and related items. They're at 108 North 7th Street in downtown Richmond. It's anticipated to open in January at the latest, but it could open in time for the holidays.
So wait, this means that all of the people that either kept their VHS tapes, kept their DVDs, and/or kept their DVDs and their old consoles will now have a place to go and get them that isn't eBay.
Yes, exactly.
Huh. So if you want to watch the VHS version of Back to the Future, you first have to find a VHS player on eBay.
Exactly.
And then you're going to go to this place and buy one.
Yeah. It looks, humble beginnings, but they're up and running.
Yeah.
And it's got some arcade games in there. Like they got Street Fighter in there.
Okay, now we're talking.
Yeah. Retro goods, right? Got the old N64 in there.
All right, so we got some Smash Brothers going on.
Yeah.
I like it.
Pretty cool. Look at this old magazines.
Okay.
This is your jam, dude.
The old magazines is not my jam, but wrestling,
right? Like the old retro,
circa 90s. Yeah, I mean,
yep.
I was definitely big into the wrestling in the late 90s and 2000s for sure. So, and I remember it would be nostalgic for me because I grew up in the late 80s, 90s. So I remember going to Blockbuster Video, renting VHS tapes. I think the first time I saw the Terminator 2 movie was VHS, which is on your list of movies that you have to watch.
Yep.
We would have movie night. So like you'd go and like get a movie. You come home, you get the popcorn, you get a big 2-liter of Coke. You sit down, you pop the movie in. It was either as a family or you could do it on a date night. That was a thing back in the day. You just go out and get a movie, some snacks, maybe some ice cream, big thing of Coke, put your arm around.
Yeah.
It was like slowly. If she like snuzzled up, that means you were in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, streaming has taken over the world and we don't have like static media anymore. And it's kind of, I don't want to be too dystopian, but the crazy thing is what that means is as everything shifts in society, they just change it. Right? It's like, oh, well, this clip doesn't make sense. So then they swap it out for something else, or they alter it, or they delete a scene or something. And you don't have the original media. And, so you're paying to like everything. It's a rental society, right? Like you have a mortgage, not really, psych, you're just renting, right? It's like maybe it's not even an upgrade, right? We've talked about this before too, but media is the same thing, right? It's like you're paying for Netflix, costs couple hundred, if not more, dollars per year, but you're not actually getting anything. You don't own anything, That's why often, like when certain seasons of shows and stuff come out that I do want to watch, I'll actually just buy the season. Like I don't have Netflix. I canceled it a couple years ago or like a year ago.
That's smart.
And so like, let's say there was a series that came out, the Dune TV series from HBO, on the Ben and Gesserit, which was called Dune Prophecy, I think.
Yeah.
I just bought the whole season for $20. And that's less than a month of Netflix or a month of HBO or whatever, and there's no advertisements. So I own it. So that's been my approach for the past, 12 to 18 months is instead of renting, instead of paying a monthly streaming bill, I just hear about something that I'm actually interested in. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll spend $20 just to purchase that whole season. I'll just watch it when I want rather than getting on like some monthly subscription.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah.
Because then you can just go back and watch it whenever you want. And you're not going to watch everything on Netflix. And it's a convenience trap.
Yeah.
I've noticed this, especially for the streaming services that provide a service that you use on a regular basis. So not just the videos, but things like financial trackers or wellness apps or Audible. So like your audiobooks, you subscribe because if you don't subscribe, you have no access to the utility of the app. And you can have limited access for a trial, but then you're forced to start to pay for it. It's because the idea is once you pay for it, you can use it whenever you want. And that's the trap. If you set yourself up for ambiguity, there's no reason to use it.
Yeah.
So oftentimes you don't use it at all.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's true with Netflix and Audible. I canceled Audible for that same exact reason. Like, the cool thing about Audible is when you buy an audiobook or you use your credits is you still have that book. But even that book is not yours, right? Like, if I buy a book at the store, I could buy that book and then I could like give that book to you.
True.
And you could give it back. You can't do that with a digital book. Like, I can't buy a book and then share it with you digitally. Even if there was a way where I can't read it on my tablet if you're reading it. You know what I mean? Like, then it would make sense if I could like, oh, I bought a book, I'm gonna share it with you.
Right.
And oh, I can't open it while you're reading it. And that would make sense because I've bought one copy of the book digitally.
Yeah.
But it's not even that. It's you buy the book digitally, that's it. And it's not yours. It's not yours. They can remove it from your library whenever they want. And so same thing, I stopped using Audible and I just switched to the built-in like Apple iBooks. And then I just buy the in particular books that I want. But even still, I can't share them.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think I like we were talking about this on the last episode, which is and it's kind of what I was getting at about the movie night aspect of it. You know, coming together around a shared event and getting excited about something that you're going to do together, experiencing it together, and then talking about it afterwards. You don't do that with Netflix shows. You kind of do it with big releases. So, for instance, Stranger Things is a big thing that's out. So a lot of people are watching Stranger Things. When Game of Thrones comes back on, it'll be the talk of the town when that's happening. But I like the idea of the fixed media, so like a VHS tape or a DVD, because let's say it's not on Netflix or it's not on any streaming service and this person has it at their house, the only way you can watch it is to go to their house and watch it.
Yep.
Or you can borrow it from them and then you have to get the facilitating device to watch it yourself, which is a whole journey.
Yep.
And I think the potential for that becoming not the norm, but I think a lot more people are leaning towards authenticity in the age of everything being artificial. That may be we might see a big spike in people wanting to do things like movie nights or getting a VHS player to watch a movie that they haven't seen in 40 years because it's not on Netflix.
Yep. And certain things are only licensed by Netflix, right? So I'm looking at Stranger Things and I'm like, oh, can I just buy the new season? And I don't really see a way that I can do that. So I think that's something where like it's a Netflix show.
Yeah.
So you can only watch it on Netflix.
Yeah.
And that's how they get you. But the thing is, Netflix, I don't know, they haven't even come out with anything that good anymore. And I feel like that's how all these, like we've come full circle from having cable and you used to have to like buy all the different little packages. It's like somehow we've come all the way back to that. And now it's even worse.
Talking about things that are specific to Netflix or specific to a streaming service, so you have to go to the service to buy it. I was watching it was another podcast. I don't recall which one, but it was the actress Jamila Jamil, who was one of the main characters on A Good Place, which is one of my favorite like TV shows or series in the last 10 years. It's a Netflix original, but it was so well done and well written. I've watched it numerous times. Ted Danson, Kristen Bell, and Jamila Jamil. She's talking about how when she's been cast in certain things and she's acting out the script seems plain and derivative and lackluster and is not really captivating. And she found out that the scripts are purposefully written for people being distracted by their phones.
Yeah.
So people that are watching things on streaming or watching a movie online, it's very likely that they're not paying full attention. So they design the scripts to be exciting enough that you don't need all of your attention devoted to the show to keep up with what's going on. And I was just like, we're cooked.
Yeah, dude.
We're so cooked.
Yeah.
They're dumbing down movies and TV because we're so absorbed with all of the distractions in our life. That's not great.
And not to be selfish about it, but it's why we're doing this podcasting thing, right? I think all of us, we have this like innate need for some normalcy, and these like short, like fast paced whatever, dude, it's brain rot, and it's too much. And I like the long format discussion. And yes, we take moments of this and share it with the world through social media and through Instagram. But putting like a long format discussion out there is way more valuable, and it's something where someone can be like just driving in their car or, whatever, and you can listen into a podcast where you actually get something from it, where it's not just a movie designed to like zap your dopamine, and it's not even like the greatest artistic expression of what the movie could be. Mm-hmm. So, you think about some of these podcasts where the discussions are 2, 3, 4, some are even 5 hours long. I just watched a 3.5 hour debate between a Apollo astronaut and a moon landing denier. One of the most interesting.
That is so on brand.
Yeah.
I kind of want to watch it too.
You should watch it. And well, I won't ruin it.
Don't ruin it. No spoilers.
I'm not going to ruin it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, now I can't say anything. I'll put it this way. It's so nuanced that I still don't know. I still don't know.
Yeah, because you were sure. You were sure. Like,
yeah.
If you haven't heard us talk about this before, Mike and I have talked off camera. I'm not going to give away your stance, but I was pretty sure that you were sure about how you felt about it. I'm pretty sure that I'm sure about how I feel about it. So I think we both need to watch this and compare notes.
Yeah. The moon's hollow. It was installed there. It's made out of foam. It's not real, and no one's ever been there.
The moon is real. It's a big piece of rock that broke when the Earth was struck by something larger, and it formed into its own body. We did not have the moon and its opposing gravity. We wouldn't have tides or seasons. Let the argument commence.
Yeah. And, the moon is definitely real. I like to be funny about it. But did we go there is a really, really fascinating topic.
We went there.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Look it up.
Please do. Please do. Please do.
Look it up. Report back. We want to hear your findings. Comment on this video clip when we post it.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't have the answer is I don't know.
That's my favorite part of truth deniers or factual deniers. I prefer science. And I'm not going to say that I'm a hard line on anything. I prefer the scientific method. You disagree with a lot of the widely accepted notions about astronomy.
I disagree with anything that's widely accepted.
There you go.
If everyone accepts it, I disagree.
Fair enough. And I understand, and I can accept your logic there. I like the scientific approach because it doesn't have anything to do with how you feel about it. Prove it. If you are so sure, show me the proof.
Yeah. Well, I think you'll be interested in this then. Because what I'll say is, as somebody who is skeptical that we went, I wasn't convinced that we did. And I am very open-minded, right? Like I'm also not convinced that we didn't. But if I had to, I don't know, man, it's so up in the air. There are many, many things that point to we didn't.
Yeah.
And there are things that point to we did. But I don't know, dude.
And you know what? I'll be honest. The moon landing has never really been one of those things where I'm like, I need to be sure one way or the other. I like to think that we did, but I can reasonably believe that we didn't, or we didn't do it when we said we did.
Yeah.
Like, sure. Did we say we went? Did we make a video up in a studio in Hollywood and then 40, 50 years later make a movie about it? Sure. That's believable.
There's a lot of really interesting things around science that hint that it's potentially very unlikely, right? Like the Van Allen asteroid belt is 37,000 miles wide of radiation. And it's like, we just sent a rocket ship through that. And there's recorded evidence of Werner von Braun saying there's no way we could do that.
The asteroid belt between Earth and the moon?
Right.
Okay.
So there's a radiation belt. Like with the amount of radiation it would obliterate human life, right? Yeah. And the argument is that we were going so fast that we just flew through it, Sure.
Okay,
Maybe.
sure,
You know,
sure.
maybe.
I wasn't there.
Exactly. Neither was I.
Yeah.
And neither was the astronaut in the interview.
Nobody was there. It was all fake.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. It's a very interesting topic.
You know, it's funny that now I'm thinking about it because every time I talk to you, I'm like, oh, man, maybe I need to rethink this. I like to follow somewhat what's going on with extra solar, extra planetary astronomy. So probes and spaceships that are traveling past the moon, past the planets, past the solar system. I like to find out what's going on. There's no way for me to prove that that's actually what's happening outside of the stuff that is being told to us by the people that are in authority, that their entire job and responsibility is to discern the truth. They're the ones that are conveying this information. They're also the ones that are told to shut up when big government says that,
yeah,
you guys are telling
false
truths.
You mean like the 15% of the Apollo astronauts that died in mysterious circumstances, and they just happened to be the ones that questioned the whole thing, and they all died within a 2-year period?
Look it up.
Not of natural causes.
Hashtag look it up.
Just saying, dude, look it up.
I don't know, but I like it.
Yeah.
I like all of it regardless. That's my bag. Like, I like astronomy and space stuff. So whether it happened or not, when they said it happened and how they said it happened, it's still cool.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And I mean, the government making things up and lying to us is also interesting.
Yeah.
The era of the Cold War is very interesting.
That was fascinating to me. I took 20th century history twice because
Really?
It was mind-blowing, some of the stuff that we talked about in high school.
Yeah.
I was like, we did what? We told who to do what, when, where. And then later, years and years later, I saw a movie called The Imitation Game.
I think I've seen that.
There's a documentary about it, and then there's a Netflix adaptation with Benedict Cumberbatch.
He's great.
It was fascinating.
Oh, that's the one with the early computers, and I have seen that. That was a great movie.
He designs a computer that can break the German cipher that has a specific code name. I can't remember the code name now.
Dude, we are 26 episodes in, and this is the first time where you're like, I've seen a movie, and I'm like, dude, I've seen that movie.
Yes.
That's funny.
We've bonded one more level. He's seen a movie that I've seen.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the first time that's happened.
I love it. I love it.
Got to be careful with what you learn in academia, though.
That's
especially on the topic of World War II, because we were heavily lied to about all that stuff. And I'll just leave it. I'll leave it at that.
We're going to leave it there, and we'll leave it with you.
Yeah.
Look it up.
I'll report back.
Yeah. This podcast was recorded at Vera House Studios in Richmond, Virginia, and produced by Perry Young and Mike Metzger.